This thing in reverse. Hello, my name is Donita. Welcome to my channel. It's a Keeper Design. Tonight, I'm going to do a quick make, the first live video sewing. So I'm going to do a quick make of a pajama t-shirt. It's going to be sleeveless. My stuff where it needed to be. Now, I'm not going through the whole process of showing you the cutting and everything like that because I'm just doing the make. If you add cutting it out, laying it out, probably you need to add another half an hour. But what I did, I hope you can see that. Okay, I design my own patterns, but from time to time I need to do variations on them if I can use them for something else. So this I designed as a t-shirt for a woven fabric. And what I'm doing is taking the same pattern, but I'm extending it to so the pajama top can be long and comfortable. The average length above the knee, below the knee, those choices are yours. So if you have a t-shirt pattern, just do an extension on it. My goal tonight is to show you how to sew t-shirt fabric. And I got this for some ridiculous amount at Walmart. And that's why I do most of my shopping. But my goal is to show you how to sew this in less than an hour, do your reinforcements. Split. I'm going to put a split on the side, but also show you how to reinforce your sewing so it will not, because it's going to be pajamas. You're going to be sleeping in it. And you don't want it to come apart, split on the side or anything like this. So this is the pattern that I took the t-shirt pattern and I extended it and made it into a longer, took the sleeveless top pattern and extended it and made it into a longer pattern. Now, even though I turned it into I'm saying a pajama t-shirt, you can actually use it for anything you would like. So that was just my goal. And here's the back neck facing. And if you notice, I got two colors. I got brown and I got pink. I don't know how to manipulate this so the camera can see it because they were both just cheap. And I've also put in my interfacing so I wouldn't have to do all of that on the camera. So I've done the interfacing. And on the t-shirt pattern, because the reason I had to do facing and you see a new pattern, because if you look at the t-shirt pattern, I just did bias around the sleeve and around the neck. So I didn't need any facing. So I made a self bias. But for the pajamas, I wanted it to be a little bit more substantial or sturdy. So I added facing. And so for the front facing, since the t-shirt, the sleeve and the neck is so close together, I did a facing that goes across the body, just the top part in the chest area, and made it one. But I separated it in the back and did a back neck facing as well as a back arm facing. So here's the back arm facing, my two pieces. And when you're making your pattern, also remember to do your notches and write on your pattern. So because this is notched, I know this is going to be the shoulder. I didn't notch the bottom because, of course, I know what the shoulder is going to be. And this is going to connect to the back neck facing. I'm going to turn my camera around so you guys can actually see me sew it. Okay, those are the back sleeves for the brown. I can put that over there. And then this is what I'm talking about for the front. I made one facing that incorporated the sleeves and the neck instead of having to go through making two. And all that is just my drawing, trying to get it the way I want to, because there was no style on this. It's just a matter of having a facing, and you decide how much you want to go down with that facing. And a lot of times, sewing is you're making certain decisions on what you would like it to be. And so, since I didn't have enough fabric to place this on a fold, if you can see, I got that split in the middle, but I'm going to sew that together because it really doesn't matter. It's going to be facing. So we're going to get started sewing, and here are my pieces. This is my back. Nope, this is the front. And just to save time, I've already done the breast dots, the bust dots, and I hand sewed those. I was just watching TV, so I hand sewed them so they could be ready. But I do have to sew them again with the machine. And then here is my back. Now, along the way, I'm going to be teaching you certain lessons and giving you certain tips to. Now, when I make these pajamas, I'm just not going to cut corners because it's pajamas. I want them to last a while. When you take your time to buy fabric, cut it out, you want your things to last. And so in order to do that, you want to do it the right way the first time. It only takes a couple of more minutes to do that. Now, because this is a woven fabric, this is the neckline, and you see the t-shirt fabric, how it starts to curl on the edge. Well, if I added this facing to my t-shirt fabric, because the facing, the facing to my t-shirt fabric, because the facing has already slow down. This is my first live, so I want to get it right. Because the facing has already been interfaced, then that's going to give you a fabric that's not movable, meaning it's going to stabilize this fabric so it's not going to stretch. So you don't want your neck facing to be longer or out of order or stretch past your facing. You don't want your neck you don't want your neck portion to stretch beyond your interfacing because it has not been faced. So in order to overcome that, what you're going to need to do is put what's called a stay stitch. So you would put a stay stitch in your fabric before you put the neck, the interfacing on the neck, so it can be consistent and not stretch out of shape. So what I'm going to do right now, and this is probably the last time you're going to see me on camera, but you're going to see me sewing, but I am going to talk you guys through it. So I'm going to do my stay stitching on the front, on the back, my stay stitching on the front. I'm going to do my bust dots, and we're going to put it together. So I don't know if you're counting me talking as time, but we're going to get through this, and it's probably going to be less than an hour. So let's get started. And I hope you can see everything okay. If you can, give me a thumbs up. If I need to make an adjustment, let me know that as well. So I have my machine already adjusted. I've done my test stitch and everything. Now, when you're sewing your stay stitch, you don't want to stretch your fabric. You just want to sew it. Okay, I had my foot adjusted, but I moved my chair. Okay. Okay, let me just go back and check my stitch. I don't want. Yep, that's what I suspected. Okay. I'm gonna adjust this up a little bit. Yeah. Because what I don't want is the stitch to start gathering, because that's going to change it altogether. But there's no pulling. I'm just letting the machine feed it through. That's working out really good. Okay, so I've done my stay stitch in the front. I mean, sorry, what is this? This is the back. I've done my stay stitch in the back around the neckline, and now I'm doing my stay stitch in the front around the neckline. And see, this is like a great fabric. It's like see-through, and I'm gonna enjoy sleeping in this one. Nice and soft, has a certain level of comfort with it. And normally, what I would have done, well, I do either or, so it really doesn't matter. Is I would have done it on my serger and serged all my things beforehand, but I just thought of this idea maybe about 2 hours ago, and so I didn't want to pull out my serger. I don't officially have a sewing room set up, so as I need things, I usually take them out. And in case you guys are wondering, this is my Asante. What is it? ES1 too. It has something don't sound right about that. Okay. So I don't want to do any extra work. I should have adjusted my stitches a little longer because I don't want to gather it and have it much shorter than the neckline, because that's a whole nother challenge right there. I should have looked, but the other one came out pretty good. And these are just things that's all part of sewing. Exercise patience and get it done. Okay, so that's my front for the stay stitch. I'm not too particularly worried about doing a stay stitch on the arms, but yeah, because of the way it's curved. So that's the front stay stitch. And let me clip some of this to give it some relief without having to pull this out and do it over. I'm just gonna clip. When this happens, just go with it. And what I'm doing is I'm clipping some of the stitching so it can there can be a release, but the stay stitch will still be valid, if that terminology is right, because I don't want too many gathers in here, and I should have adjusted my machine or looked at my stitch. But this is live, so, and I'm doing live because I'm not good at editing, and so that was a suggestion to me to do live. I do appreciate you guys watching, so thank you. So right now we're 13 minutes in. The next thing I'm going to do is uh, I'm going to do my bust darts, and then I'm going to put it together. I'm going to show you a technique how you can reinforce your shoulders, because like I said, you want permanent, make sure I get some scraps here, because you want a permanent make. And like I said, I'd already sewn this by hand. Okay. Now I don't cut my thread at my breast at the bust dots, because I need to tie it off. And I don't do a back stitch, because if we do a back stitch, then that's going to create one of those little bubbles. So you're not going to have a neat finish when you get to the end, or when you especially when you iron it, you want it to be invisible. Okay. Okay, now I can remove this basting stitch. I've moved my trash can over to my left side, so I got to get used to that. All right. All right. Now, see how that bust dot looks? It goes all the way to the end, no bubble. And let me do this one. Then we do the shoulders. And once we put it together, it's like a wash. That's where the easy part comes in. Because all you're doing then is working with your facing. I just wanted to get that knot out of the way before I got started. Okay, that one's done too. Okay. My thread is matching so well, it almost disappears when I'm looking for it. Okay, that one's done. Remove my basting. Yeah. And I'm gonna try to let you guys know as I think about it what uh, equipment I'm using. And these are my snippers. I think you saw that. Fiskar. And they're not cheap. And I'm not saying that they're worth the price. Let me put it that way. I think these pair were about $8. And you see this tip. I don't know if you can see that. You see how the tip goes down and gets thinner. That makes it easier to get under the stitches and clip them. So I really like these. I've had these. I don't know, about 7, 8 years. Okay, so clip another stitch around this corner. Yeah, I feel better about that now. Okay, now, so I have the back stay stitch, the front stay stitch done. This is just my extra. What I'm looking for is, ta-da, but I don't think that's big enough. A selvage piece, which I should have already had available. Uh, oh, great. Okay. So let me cut me a little piece off. Well, enough for both shoulders. Let me put it that way. So when you're sewing your shoulders together, you always want to use a stabilizer or some sort to give that shoulder strength and allow it to stay in shape. See this selvage? It's not stretching. It's rolling because I'm pulling on it. But that selvage is not going to stretch like the fabric. This selvage edge. Let me put it that way. Okay, this should cover both of them. So let me move this out the way so I won't get confused and pick it up for something else. Okay. Okay. So all I'm gonna do is just divide this. This is another tip. As long as I can remember them, I'll give them to you guys as we go along. So with right sides together, that's the front part. Back part, and this is one of those fabrics where you have to just check every time because it's easy to uh, not recognize the front or the back side of the fabric from a distance. And if you notice the width of the shoulders, which you're probably thinking they should be thinner, but here's another tip. I sew for plus size. Uh, that's my specialty. And the way sleeve shoulders are designed, they're designed for a medium-sized person or a small-sized person. Even if the pattern is made to fit a plus size, they don't take into account the shoulders and the arms. And what I mean by that, let me raise this camera up. Now, this t-shirt is something that I brought, but when you're plus size, you have a couple of things going on up here that designers don't take into account because they design for medium and small bodies. But if your shoulder sleeve on a t-shirt, and a lot of people don't like to wear sleeveless t-shirts because they say, okay, my arms are too big. But that's the design of that shirt, to make your arms look that way. Anyone can wear sleeveless. You just have to know how to do it. When you're plus size, okay, first of all, if you lift your arms up over your head and you feel that bone that connects your arm to your shoulder, you want your t-shirt to stop right there, not in further, because if it goes in further, like most t-shirts, like I said, are designed for regular sized people. I'm not talking about anyone or trying to make anyone feel bad. I'm just giving you techniques and things that's going to work for a plus size body. So if you bring the t-shirt in closer than that, then think about it. You got all this of your shoulder and your arm showing, and you're already large up here. So that's going to make your arms look bigger. A plus size figure or a plus size person needs to have their t-shirt or anything sleeveless. Just raise your arm and you can feel a dimple right there. That's where your shirt needs to stop, right there. Because if it stops right there, then look at, if you can imagine me having on a sleeveless shirt, it's going to come down just right there. It's going to flatter your arms and not showcase them. Because if you notice, when you see a thin person, medium sized person wearing a t shirt, then it exposes this whole area of their arm. And you don't want that. So that's another tip. Raise your arm over your head and find that bone. Now, how you know how it works on the inner section is just hunch your shoulders and find that bone. So you can have your t-shirt, then you would know exactly how to, what's the width of your t-shirt. And it'll always look flattering. Or not t-shirt, the width of your sleeveless shirt. It can be a dress. A lot of people don't wear sundresses. Now, this can be actually made into a sundress or things like that because they face a challenge with, I wouldn't say necessarily being ashamed or not liking the way the garment fit. But like I said, you have to specialize in certain things and plus size to know exactly what to do. So you can manipulate a pattern, do a design so it flatters the body and not unnecessarily show some certain areas that are not complementary. Not that anyone has anything to be ashamed about their body, but we all want our clothes to fit and look a certain way. Okay, now talking, I just dropped this down, so I'm gonna have to sort it all out again. Okay, this is the back. Yep, this is the front of the back. So let me put this up here and let me get the, okay. So I'm putting the front side, yep, front sides together. So that's another tip. I think I have to add these tips up when I go back through the video and put something in the comment. But if there's any questions that you guys have, if you watch this video even in the future, and subscribe, please. I plan to do these videos for you guys and show you how to actually sew for plus size, because sewing for plus size is not just a matter of taking a small uh, or medium sized pattern and making it bigger. It's certain things that you're going to have to account for that is not taken into account for a smaller body. And so as I get to certain designs, I'll share those things with you. But I want to stick to, you know, as the things come up to share. So we learned a stay stitch today and what it's for. We're learning how to. That's the teacher in me. We're learning how to. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back the other way. And I didn't put a dart in his shoulder, and I think I kind of overextended one, but that's all right. We're gonna fix that right now. And learning how to cut a sleeveless pattern for a plus size person and have it look really good. See, I eased that all the way out, went back from that end to the center. Now, I've pinned this together. What I'm going to do is take this selvage piece, you see, I'm going to place it on the shoulder, and I got to go back and pin it again because I just pinned it to get those two together. Place it on the shoulder, and I'm going to sew it along with the seam. That's going to give me that reinforcement in the shoulder area that I need, because 3 months from there, after wearing and washing, 4 months from there, 6 months from there, now I don't want this shoulder drooping. And I'm not going to do it on camera, but I think I'll go back and serge off my edges. I might just do a zigzag, because you can take any machine really and manipulate it to do what you want. Now I got so many different stitches on this machine. I might pick one and do it here. But I don't want to move this too far to the edge and miss my stitch. And I'm a big fan of pinning. And this, what I'm doing right now, is called pin basting. It's still basting, but it's pin basting. So when you use a pin, and I would suggest that if you don't use pins to baste, you just gonna put it down under the foot and sew. I never recommend that, because you're gonna have some pulling in some areas and stuff, or not, and you want your, like I said, you're not making temporary garments. You want them to last. So now that I have this here, and I put my pins, if you notice, my pins are pointed towards the outside, not, I see some people set the pins the way you sew the seam. You don't do that when you're sewing on a regular machine. When you pin as if you're sewing a seam, I guess you can call it, the pins I'm doing are horizontal. But if you pin vertically, as if the way the seam is going, that's difficult. And it's kind of awkward to take the pins out. You only use that type of pinning when you're doing working with the serger. And so you bring the pins far enough in so the serger blade won't touch them, and you can keep them in. Now, I recommend that you take your pins out. I recommend. And I'm not responsible if you don't. So I'm recommending it, but I don't take pins out, and the reason I don't is because uh, when we had the older machines and the foots that were uh, now with the fabric this thin, I'm seeing now that that will be the best practice. But if the fabric was thicker, I wouldn't. The older machines, they couldn't sew over a pin because the foot wasn't designed to do that. But you see that spring in the back of most of the feet that are on machines, that's to allow you to sew certain things in certain ways that you weren't able to. So some things you learn, you just change up. Okay, now you see. So what I do is just push it together, put my pins on. But anyway, now you see how that shoulder is not stretching; it's stable. That's the slip of fabric that I cut from the stay stitch from behind. Now what I'm gonna do is pin the next one and sew it, but then I'm gonna turn my machine down, back down to the machine, so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I just thought about that. And continue to sew because my next move is to put my facing. Start with my facing, and once I do facing, it's like, oh, it's a wrap. So and I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Any questions, just put them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer. So this is live, people. And I'm looking under my glasses because I need a new subscription. Not need a new subscription. I do. I need people to subscribe. I need a new prescription. And I'm just not going out at such a time as this to the eye doctor. So I might see if I can. Well, getting another pair with the same prescription is not going to change the fact that I need a new prescription. It's like my eyes are getting better. Kid you not. Thank you, Lord. I have to look down under them to actually see because when I look up like this, it's like bleary. Now, uh, I used to be a big fan of contacts. I wore contacts for years, and so like the last year, the Lord just laid it on me to lay out the contacts for a while, and that's what I did. So I've been wearing glasses exclusively for I would say about a year, coming up now, a year and a half. Yeah, that was May. So yeah, August, September, May, June, July. But yeah, about a year and 4 months now. Not that that has anything to do with what we're doing here, but I'm just talking. I'm just saying. Okay, now I'm putting my other piece of stay stitch. Stay stitch stabilizer, which I made is self-made from the selvage edge. You want your shoulders to always look just as crisp as the first day you made your garment, and this will keep them in place. They won't be drooping or puckering or anything like that. So I'm gonna pin this in place. I'm gonna turn this camera back down so you guys can see what I'm doing and everything. Oh, I have to sew my front facing together because I ran out of fabric. I couldn't put it on the fold. And those are the things that happen. Just go with the flow. I ran out of fabric. I couldn't put it cut on the fold. So I just cut two separate pieces and I'll sew them together. Nobody knows what you have underneath your garment and how you arrange your facing. That's the same thing with interfacing. Uh, Sometimes I have to do a patchwork on it. If I'm running low, and I don't have enough to cut out a whole piece, but that's interfacing. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so Now I'm turning this back down where you guys can see me sew it. All right, here we go. Okay, and for the camera's sake, I'm gonna take out my pins. And my stitch, I don't want no puckers or nothing. Yep, wrong side. I'm always checking when it's a fabric that you can't really tell. Because even though I had the patience to pick things loose, and that's another thing, always have that kind of patience. I don't like to. Okay, now you see how I sewed that piece, and I'm gonna trim that off, and also as well as this. But the most important thing is I got it in there. It's not gonna allow this to move and stretch. Okay, so the next thing, since the neckline is together, is facing. So I have to sew this together because, like I said, I was supposed to cut it on a fold and I didn't. Well, I didn't have enough fabric to do so. So this one, this something like this, you don't need to worry about pinning it because it's already pretty stable, and it's just a small piece, and it's already there, uh, already set up as it should be. And you're not seeing me do a lot of back and forth reinforcement because these are going on another seam. So, but what you will see me do, since I'm not going back and forth, I don't want this to be. I don't want this to be sticking out. Like I said, it's going under another piece. So what I'm going to do is sew this flat because I don't want a little bump in the front where you'll be able to see the seam. And you can say this is a small seam. Well, the way I cut it out, I knew it was going to be a small seam because I just wanted to basically join the two pieces together. Okay. And see all of this. I'm going to trim that off. Well, I can do it now, actually. Because even though I moved my trash can and I keep wanting to reach over to my right, and I moved it because it was more convenient on that side. Because when I get up on my right side, and I'm always moving the trash can out of the way. And I'm going, why am I doing that when I could just move the trash can? So put this needle in here. Okay, good. And I'm gonna be making some Christmas stockings. Uh, and I made my own pattern and came up with my own design. And so I'm gonna show that probably in the next video. Get ready for Christmas. I got two little girls. One's a 2T and one's a 5T that I have to come up with some holiday outfits. I'm thinking velvet and lace and big bows. Okay, now that is done. I'm not concerned about that appearance because, like I said, that's going to be in the back. Okay. And I'm forever throwing stuff in the trash. I don't like clean up afterwards. I like clean as you go. Okay, this is mine. Okay, so when you do the interfacing, actually you're going to do it on the right side of the fabric, moving it then to the back of the fabric. And see, a simple adjustment save me from doing all this. So how am I doing on time? Oh my goodness, I'm 41 minutes in. And I said an hour make, didn't I? Well, it's going to be an hour make, hopefully, by the time I uh, get this facing on. All I have to do is do the side seams, and I'll show you how to stabilize those seams. Uh, where is it? Oh my goodness, I can't make any more. Uh-uh. We're not going to do that, Miss Darnita. No, we got to find that. I got two little pieces. That's come on. Lift that out of the way, this out of the way, that neck out of the way. 2 inches by 1 inch. And that was gonna be my split stabilizer. Come on. No, I'm not that all my stuff in order. It happens. Hey, where did we hear that? Oh, uh no, that was something else I'm thinking about. Like I said, I'm making brown and pink. Those pieces are so important. Ah, okay, I'll just make some more. I hate to do that. Okay, I'm not going to take any more of your time hunting for my pieces. I said I wasn't going to take any more of your time, right? And I'm still hunting. Okay, moving on, moving on. Oh, another tip. If you're sewing something and you know it's going to take a substantial amount of thread because of what you have to do, always wind you an extra bobbin. That way you don't have to interrupt your sewing. You can just I don't like it when I got everything together. Then something happened. But normally I would press these bust darts, but I'm trying to be true to my word and make it an hour make, which I'm already over. So now the next thing is the shoulder. Okay. So get used to it. Okay, the shoulder. Get over it. Okay, now you can do this one or two ways. You can put all the pieces together and then sew it, or you can do it separately like I'm doing. So what I mean by that, you would put the back neck and the back arm to this piece, and then sew it across and sew them together. But that would be too much because this front is one whole piece. So what I'm gonna do is sew it separately. Hmm. It's something I didn't consider. I have to think about that because I didn't consider something. Yep, I didn't consider that. And I guess you guys are thinking the same thing right about now, all my sewers. How is she gonna turn that? So I'm gonna figure it out. Now what I'm gonna do is this is the center. I gotta find my center point, but let me just attach it so I know my front from my back. And that's going in the back. If I sew it, I'm gonna have two pieces. Okay, I'm my mind is working it out, working it out. I didn't even consider that. I might have to just cut it after all. Either way, these are things that happen. I'm gonna find my center, which I should have notched it. Wow, this is a lesson. This is a true lesson. I just know I was prepared for everything. So, oh, come on now. Center. Let's put that together. I think I want to sew on, yeah, this side of it. Okay. Now, other than the gathers from that, the sewing, you see how that stay stitch has it working all out together. I don't have any extra. That's the pucker from the sewing the thing. I don't have any extra um, stretch in the fabric for the distance, and then I still have a little bit of flexibility because I accounted for the shoulder seam, so I still have a little bit of flexibility there. Let me see here. Did I overcompensate? Nope. That's good. Okay, and here's the other side. Doing the same thing. Pinning, pinning, pinning. That stay stitch stabilized the the fabric that wasn't woven. So this video is going to be as long as it lasts, as long as it is, because I'm getting through this. Uh, and I appreciate you guys' viewership. even if it's after the live is over. But I wanted to show, instead of showing a finished garment, I wanted to help somebody who needs to know how to do these kind of things from beginning to end. A lot of videos that I see, they just assume that that person knows how to do certain things. And so, they show them a finished product. Now, normally, what I would do is remove this piece, but I usually only do it for sleeves and just have this arm left. That's what it's there for. It's for to be removed. But this isn't small enough neckline for me to need to get under it or things to go around like you would think. So, and also, um, it's just my preference. When I'm sewing something with a neckline, I like for my seam to go towards the back of the go towards the back. So that's how I sew my shoulder seams, going towards the back. Now I'm gonna do but I'm not sewing the shoulder seam right now because I have to attach the back facing. That's just another uh, tip. And when you do it that way, it keeps you, even if there's like extra fabric or a little extra, um, a little lump, or you most of the time you can't see it. It's gonna be towards the back. Now some people like to split the seam. I don't necessarily like to do that. That's my alarm. Okay, I missed it. Now I'm gonna have to wait until it comes on again. Oh, let's see if it'll let me cut it off. Like I said, I'm doing live, and so I think the next time I'm going to have a certain amount done, and then come and show you some new things. But this is really a good project for beginners because everyone has a T-shirt, and you can just use that as your pattern. All right, so I'm just making sure everything is and don't go at me in the comments about sewing over pins. I've been sewing since I was 12 on a real machine. No, I think I was 10. My mom got me a real machine. My mom and dad for my Christmas present when I was 12 years old. It was a Ricard. I used to sew some of my clothes that I would wear to school. And I remember I had this nice, it was a nice, it wasn't like navy, it was somewhere in between. Um, Corduroy fabric. And I made this jacket with a round tail on it. And I decided to make it in, trim it in gold. So it was beautiful. Actually, I loved it. One of my favorite jackets. However, I decided to try out the monogram on the machine. Well, it wasn't really a monogram; it was a zigzag, and you would just put it on the baste and stitch. The book, the instruction book, will tell you how to do stuff. And so I started out. Oh, it was beautiful. I wrote my name on there, so I can see it in chalk. And then I started out with the monogram portion and doing it, and I ran out of thread, and so I got DON on there. Didn't get the rest on there because I don't know. Back then, it's like you go to the fabric store, you get your stuff, and if you run out, you run out. And then I just didn't have the patience to, well, not patience. I never seemed to have the time to go back to the fabric store and match up the gold thread and finish it. So it's like when I would wear my jacket, people said Dawn, and it was this guy in school named Don, and they thought I had put it on there because of him. And I'm going, oh, would they please just stop? But it didn't stop me from wearing that jacket though. I loved it. So now I'm just cutting some release in the curve. And I'm not gonna do the what do you call it? It's not top stitching. Come on now, on the top of my tongue. Uh, well, I guess it is in a way, but top stitching is more the decorative stitching. Okay, I just want to cut my curve and move on to the back facing. So this is very important. And the reason this is done is to give some release to that curve section. So when you turn it inside out, your collar part won't be pulling or sagging uh, because that wasn't done. So it's going to help it lay flat to your chest area. Okay. So you see the back, well, which is actually going to be the part you're going to see. Because of that stay stitch, everything worked out great. I'm going to turn this inside out. But before I do that, I don't want to change my stitch because then I have to go on there and I was going to zigzag all the way across here. Now this is where I would usually serge, and I still might just leave it and serge. But I just want to show you guys how to put on interfacing. We've done that. Let me put the back one on. And I have, that's going to bother me what happened to my two little pieces. And I think I told myself, let me put them here so I won't lose them. And when I said that, I put them away from myself. So that was so smart, Miss Donita. Okay. Now I'm adding the back facing. First of all, let me get my center portion because I didn't put a dart. Or not a dart. Yeah. Cut out a little notch. A notch. That's what I didn't put. And know all of these. Okay, so what I'm doing is just finding my center, finding my center. That's my center. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this together. Put the back neck facing on. Okay, good. And then my center here, because I didn't do a notch either. Okay, this is a perfect example for me to show you. Look, piece together my I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, I think it's white. It's not gonna, but right there, where I had to piece the pieces together, and I think on one of the sleeves I had to add a little piece on the end. All that's part of sewing. We have to learn how to make the most of what we have. And also, I think I'll do that after I do the Christmas stocking. I'm going to show you how to make a skirt or a pair of pants with no zipper, no elastic, and probably a hook and eye. And you still be able to function and get in and out just like you would if you use a zipper or buttonholes or anything else like that. And it's called a secret kosher. But all my plus size ladies, I'm gonna show you how to make some skirts too, or not just skirts, pants too. But it's certain things that yeah, especially if you're making something with elastic. There's a certain technique, just like I told you about the shoulders, that you would use if you're plus size, because you don't want to, and you're still using elastic, but you don't want to have all that bulk from the gathers of the elastic around your waist. So I'll show you that too. There's a lot of things that plus size can make just like regular size, but you have to change it up a little bit. Now, like when somebody see you in the sleeveless that I'm making, they won't know technically what you did behind the scenes to get your look. They'll just see a sleeveless shell or a sleeveless dress, but it'll be flattering. But you had to do something a little bit different. You had to, I'm just trimming at the shoulders where I'm going to sew. I'm not trimming the whole thing, which is what I'm going to do later. Okay. But you had to do something different to achieve that look. So I hope you guys are still watching. Yeah, I'm just placing this on here and pinning. Like I said, this is called pin basting. I'm still basting, but it's called pin basting. And you don't want to alleviate any steps in pin basting, because if I didn't, because of the nature of this fabric, then I would end up with gathered stitches, puckering fabric underneath. But this is going to hold everything in place while I sew. Because your finished product, you want it to look just like you brought it out the store. And trust me, uh, here's the thing a lot of people don't realize when you sew. Your eyes are like the gateway to, when you look at things. And your eyes will pick up on stuff that intellectually or in your mind you won't necessarily know. But a lot of times people will sew something and then they won't like it when it's finished, and they won't wear it because their eyes is telling them something is off, but they don't realize that. So that's why it's important to make sure your stitches are correct and everything. And they're not going to like it, and they're not going to get the joy of wearing it because it's either not cut on the right grain, or something is sewn that's off. There's a pucker here or there, and that's not going to be something that you're going to wear. Uh, so you're going to have something that you spent time on sitting in your closet or in a basket somewhere, and you're not getting the joy of your labor from it. So it's always patience, get it right, sew it, and you end up with a professional looking project. Now, normally this is where I would be ironing everything, because you can't do one without the other. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and trim this interfacing because I want to see this curve really good. I got over zealous with my interfacing. And I appreciate you guys' patience. So I'm just cutting it down to where I can see everything. I want to really see my curve. Oh, I got it right this time. Trash can on the left. All right. Okay. I'm enjoying this live though. If you guys got the patience, hey, we're gonna get it done. I got the time to sew it. Because like I said, this is a good project for beginners to learn all the things under the fabric that you need to do to end up with a professional garment, and one that's gonna last, and you're gonna get the joy out of it. Okay, so here's the back facing that I'm doing to the front facing. And we're going to have this neckline stabilized in a minute. And now the sun is coming in through my back door and changed everything. I had this light on. I think that's going to be a big adjustment for me, getting used to, I don't want to catch my back seam in there, and I don't want to pucker. Straighten it out now, straighten it out. Okay. Yeah, always check underneath, because sometimes things can get a little folding, and then you have to pick something or loose. So I rather check before I start where I place my needle. It takes less time to do it correct the first time, then pick things loose. Not that you don't have to from time to time. Doesn't matter how long you've been sewing. I'm moving this over a little bit. I was in too far. Okay, I'm trying to be consistent with the back neck facing. Okay, this is a t-shirt fabric. I want to make sure I don't have anything out of order in the back. And you're probably saying, why not sew it from the other way? Well, because when I did the stay stitch and I had the gathers in the fabric, I'd rather have sew it from the inner facing because I'm kind of putting pressure on the fabric to make sure there's no chance of gathering underneath. And I'm kind of feeling with my fingers, but this comes from kind of years of practice. But it's not something that you can't do. You just, when you do it this way, you just got to keep checking. And I would rather do it slowly, keep checking, than to rush on through it and hope nothing gets caught. And even though these are pajamas, like I said, when you make something, you want it to look right, look professional, so you can enjoy wearing it. Because if it doesn't, trust me, you're not going to wear it. You're not going to wear it. You're not going to enjoy it. And you're going to critique. You're going to do you're going to critique it. But always say, I'll do better next time, so don't beat yourself up. It's a learning process. Okay, almost to where I need to be. I need to move this over. Yeah, that pen kind of got it going wonky. Okay, I'm gonna start right there because I'm not gonna sew that seam yet. So, like I said, don't come at me in the comments about the pins. Then I have to go back to the beginning of the video and see my explanation, and then call this sewing machine manufacturer, because they ain't gonna tell you that in the book. But I guess if you call and ask them, they'll tell you how that the new style feet are designed for sewing a certain way. But you guys are grown. I'm not recommending that because I don't want anybody to come after me. I'm just snipping this ahead of time for when I have to do all my I guess you call it top stitching. So see, when I fold this inside, now let me show you. If I don't do the top stitching, when I fold this inside, that's why you probably see this a lot. You're going to be able to see my facing from the front of your garment. Okay, in order to avoid that, that's why you do understitch. You do an understitch, just a little small one. And so then when you turn it inside out, it's going to take a little bit of the front part with it. And see, you would never see the seam. So when you see a seam from the back on a neckline, a sleeve, or anything like that, someone didn't do an understitch, because that's what the understitch is for. So that's another something you learned today. Understitch. Okay, so now this is the dilemma. If I sew this on here, then how am I going to turn it? Let's see. Let me pin it and then see. If you understand what I'm trying to say, I think I'm supposed to leave the shoulders open. I haven't done this kind of thing in a while. Leave the shoulders open so I can turn it at the shoulder. I think that's what I need to do. because if I sew it all the way around, um, yeah, leave the shoulders open. If I sew it all the way around, plus sew the shoulders together. Let's see, you see what I'm talking about? If I sew it all around and sew the shoulders together, how am I going to turn this inside out? Because this one's going to be sewn too. So that's going to be a pickle. Uh, I think I'll leave the shoulders open and try it that way. Hmm. Because even if I pull this, let's see how that's going to work out. Yeah, it's going to have to come through there on both sides. Yeah, so I'll leave the shoulders open and sew it from the back. That's what I'm going to do. So now on to the next thing. We're going to sew. This had better work. If not, I just have to pick it loose. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I can sew the shoulders together here because I'm leaving it open here, and I can pull it through. I'm sorry, I didn't think this through. I could have made a paper model and then try it, but I didn't think. But when I made the shoulder together, and I don't want to mess up my thing and cut a slit in the shoulder and make them separate. Yeah. Oh well, it's gonna work out. It is going to work itself out. Okay. Now this is the one. Well, let me take a look at this real good because I didn't do a stay stitch on this on the arm. Yep, I needed to do that. Well, okay, one side was wonky because extra cut. But let me go ahead and do a quick stay stitch on the side. We're gonna keep this in the back, and that light is in my face. Okay, I'll just leave it there. I can make the stitch longer though, so I won't have that gathering. Make the stitch. Oh, I changed up in the middle of the thing. That's too. All right. What in the world is happening here? I have to leave myself extra. That's what's going on. Things like this happen. Something's going on with my bobbin. But I need the extra thread. Okay. I got two things going on because when I was putting thread on this bobbin, the thread ran out, and I just added to it, and now it's challenging me. Okay, and so I didn't have a whole uh, one continuous bobbin going on. I'm just gonna cut, and let that go with that. These are the things that go on when you're show. It's up to you to take it in stride. I'm not doing another stay stitch because I have the extra thread. I need to just pull it out, straighten it out. Because it's not a stitch that's used for anything. It's just a temporary stabilizer. That's what a stay stitch is. It means it's going to stay until you use it to keep the fabric in place. Okay, there we go. Oh, now, because this is going to the sleeve, you don't want to just assume that it's, see what I'm doing? I don't want to have more fabric than the other. And because I used a pattern that was for woven fabric, and I just made my own facing. Not for woven fabric. Well, it was for woven fabric, but I used a bias, self bias for the sleeves, and so my shoulder uh, from the fabric and my interfacing that I made is a little off. But since I don't want um, any puckering or that thing that happens when one piece of fabric that you put together is longer than the other piece or wider than the other piece, especially I've seen it in like jacket linings and stuff like that, that people just use the edge instead of making sure. And all I'm doing is just pinning this together in the back to make sure that any extra, I know that it's there because they were uneven. And like I said, this was a quick um, make, quick facing, everything. So I'm not concerned that one is a little bit larger or shorter than the other. See, by that much. And then two, once I put the interfacing on the facing that I created, it kind of shrunk it in. So still, I'm not worried about that either, because those things are the things that happen when you sew. But also, I got to make sure. Yep, I got what I need. And how long is this going on? 1 hour and 20 minutes. Well, this is a good project for someone who absolutely don't know how to sew, or not. I wouldn't say don't know how to. I had a lot of questions about some of the basic things, so I got to change my title. I'll just take the 1 hour make off and leave a pajama plus size pajama t-shirt, and don't put the 1 hour make on it because see that would make me a little tale teller. So I'll go back and change the video, guys. But thank you for sticking with me. You're going to learn a lot in this one, I'm telling you. And you're going to see the things that happen when you sew. Sometimes you have to make adjustments to your machine, adjustments to an idea, um, especially when you're designing things. And you see a lot of designers, they will actually write down everything about that design, just like you would a pattern. And I'm not making excuses. I just, it was quick. I said, I need, because what I was thinking is, oh, I don't want to be wearing my same old gowns and stuff. I need something new for this winter. And because we're on lockdown, we can do things for ourselves, like to make us feel better and make us nice lounging things, because we're doing more of it. And so I said, if I can make some pajama t-shirts, you know, especially on some Saturdays where you just want some good coffee and then catch up on your movies or something like that, especially those working from home. You want to change your routine. Well, a t-shirt like this can actually take you all day, meaning, it's not something that you just wear to bed. So it's nice to lounge into. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I get this curve right. But let me come back and show you. You see how thick this shoulder part is? That's a plus size shoulder size. Mine, as a matter of fact. But if it was thinner than that, then even though they pajamas, you want to have that appearance, they will look a certain way. So all my plus size people, yes, you can wear sleeveless outfits. It's just that you have to follow a certain technique so they can look flattering. Simple as that. Just like with when we do pants and skirts, I'll show you certain techniques because you're plus size. You have to change up a little bit so they can be flattering. And my little thing now, let me tell you another thing to do, but I didn't do it because I'm not keep going back to that. I just wanted to. I thought it was going to be a 45-minute make, but I'm obsessed with not obsessed, but I like to have things done the right way and neatly. Now here's another tip. Because this is a t-shirt fabric and it's thin, what you could have done was, and I love it's called featherweight or lightweight, but featherweight interfacing. You can use it for so many things. Now, see, what you could have done is take the featherweight interfacing and just cut a strip and go across the edge of this as well. And then you wouldn't have to be concerned with the stay stitch. And that will give you fortify your arm area even more. But the featherweight facing is good for so many things. I'm telling you, and that's what my I'm gonna stop right here. That's what my little pieces that I had. So to show you how to stabilize a split, because a lot of people don't make things with splits in them because the split out. But the way I show you how to stabilize it, you will never, ever, ever have that problem. That stitch will not go anywhere. That split will not go anywhere. Now, what were you doing down there? Okay, so now I'm gonna sew the shoulder, and like I said, we've gone over the 45 minutes. I'm changing that time on there. I'm just gonna say plus size pajama t-shirt. And all those people who are learning some things today said thank you, Miss Donita. Okay. Um, but anyway, like, share, subscribe. Uh, Sometimes good things take a little bit of time, you know. Uh, yeah. Okay. See, I'm thinking ahead. I should have done my understitch before I did this, but hopefully I can make it work. And the reason I'm saying this is because it's going to change the width. But if it changed the width for both things, then I think I'm going to be good. I don't want to make sure my curves are right. And I'm going to stop. Make sure I know where I'm stopping right there. That. Now that I back stitch because that's under that arm. Oh, see there? See, you see how neat this look? But the challenge is my bobbin finally got to the end of my two pieces, which is not a bad thing. But look, it's not going to cost me a. And this is the same way if you were uh, at the end of your bobbin, but I happen to you would just drop your next bobbin in and keep going. Now, this is a good time. When you have a bobbin or something that you run out of thread, you don't just try to find a spot and put it in. Actually, lift up your foot, go back maybe about a 1/4 inch from where your stitch stopped, and put the needle right on top of that thread. Now, normally what you would do is just pull your thread to one side and tie it off. But my thread is too short, so I've gone back a 1/4 inch, but it's on the exact same stitch. I don't have to guess about it. Just lift up your foot and look at it. I don't have to guess if it's there or if I'm gonna have like that place on your fabric where you change seams and you can see the difference in there. I'm not gonna have that because I made sure to follow the same, getting the same. Oh, we learning some stuff today. I'm telling you. Ooh, I'm loving this. This live is great. It's a long video, but I'm enjoying it. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. And I didn't mean to cut that. I wanted to backspace, but that's all right. I can go back over that if I need to. Okay. So let's see. See, no gathers in the back. Now that's the top stitch though. See how it's all flat? That's gonna represent well on this side. See, no gathers, a neat seam, and I was able to make sure there's no difference in there. Now let's see how this is gonna work. Oh, I know what I did before. Hey, Auntie, how you doing? Nothing. I am making a live video. So I'm live right now on YouTube. So let me call you back later. I'm on YouTube right now. Okay. All right. I love you. Bye-bye. We're not supposed to have favorites, but that's my favorite aunt. Now everybody gonna know. But that's all right. They get over it. Oh, I know. I was not supposed to sew. See how you remember stuff? I was not supposed to sew this seam. I was just supposed to put the facing together, the front and the back, and then come back one, turn it the right way, then sew this seam from the back, and then sew this seam folded over in the front and sew it that way. So since I've sewn this seam, I don't want to split my facing because I'm just enjoying this. I think I'll go ahead and split it. And then the next time I have to write my notes on that facing because if I don't, I won't remember. So I'll go ahead and split this and just make life easier. See, we all have to remember certain things, learn certain things. And this is the nature of sewing because you are in control of your design. You're in control of your machine. Uh, when you figure it out, you figure it out. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just write on my pattern what I had to do because I put the shoulders together too soon. That's what I did. I want to make sure I'm not cutting anything vital. I'm cutting my thing. Oh my goodness. I was just so proud. I'm telling you guys of this one piece front facing. I'm going, oh, that's gonna work out so well, and it's gonna do a lot to stabilize this thin fabric. But I'm not gonna take that loose because I have that selvage that I put on there. I'm just not gonna do it. So what I'm gonna do is one of these quick fixes is let me put this down so I can so next time when I make the brown one, I know that I'm going to not attach the shoulder. Okay, Lord, thank you for reminding me. Guess it was meant for me to do it this way. So I'm just gonna separate. That's all I'm doing. Try to maintain the middle and uh, this is kind of dangerous because I don't want to cut my fabric, the outfit. All right, life simple, made life a little simpler. Okay, just round this off, and on the brown one, I'll do it differently because I wasn't supposed to touch the shoulders. And thank you for somebody who's watching and said that in advance. She's not going to be able to turn that because she didn't she sewed the shoulders together. See, you have to figure it out. Now, am I upset? Nope. Keep it moving, people. Keep it moving. Okay. Now we can go ahead and what is that expression? I'm cooking with oil now. Let me curve this a little bit more so that won't look all wonky. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yep. But this is a great this is I love this. This is my first live video. And now see, it takes a lot of bravery for people to do live videos, really. You know, it's like live. You can't anticipate this and anticipate that. But if this wasn't live, then I probably could you know, now what I would have done is I don't know, probably the same thing. But either way, God is good. He let me know before I got too far into this. So let's thank you, Lord. Didn't get that far. Now I'm just attaching the shoulder, and I'm gonna go ahead and okay. Now let me cut this. Oh, going on the right side again. Okay, now I put the two together and make sure my sides. This is the back. This. This is the back. This is the front. Okay. Now let me put a pin in it so I won't forget. This is the front and this is the back. So what I was saying earlier, I'm gonna take this part of the facing to the front, and I'm gonna take the part with the selvage and the stabilizer to the back. So you see how it kind of evens itself out, but even still, the majority of it is going to the back. I don't like to split the seam because when you split the seam like that, it's a greater chance that that seam will come apart, either the front or the back, and you'll face a challenge because you would have to take the whole shoulder loose. So this way, you're kind of reinforcing the whole area to by folding it over and basically sewing it again. So you see that I'm folding the back towards the back. I mean the fabric towards the back on the outfit, and I'm folding the facing towards the front. And see how it looks kind of smooth. It's balanced. That's a balanced area right there. Now let me do this side. Cut this. Well, I want to attach it first. Well, yeah, let me go ahead and finish this and then move to the other side. Finish this side because I got this to attach to. Oh, that's the other sleeve facing. And I don't want to turn this into a part two. So we've come this far, people. Let's do it. Make sure this is not the point where I want wrinkles. I'm gonna match that seam up and do a little backspace because it's a short seam. Okay, so that's done. And do a little trim here. Oh. All right, Miss Dawn Needle. Now I had a little mishap, but that didn't bother anything where this seam got caught the second time around, but that's okay. See, I can just cut that off. All right, I'll cut from the back. I just want to make this consistent because when I put my top stitch in, when I do my understitch, because this is thin and you're going to be able to see through it, I want at least to look uniform, even all the way around. Okay, so I'm good with that. Good with that. That's done. And I'm going to keep that there. So let me do this shoulder on the other side. And I'm going to cut it. But on the brown one, I remember what to do. So always, well, I'm saying always, but this is something now that you wouldn't expect to do. So anyway, so I'm holding it up. I'm not going to cut my fabric. I'm just cutting the interface. Let me pin this on here. Okay. Trim, curve this around. And curve this around. And make it look like a curve facing. So this is one of those things that happen and you have to make adjustments on the fly. All right. Now I'm going to attach this side. Uh, that's the shoulder. All right, let me do my stay stitch on this side. Let me go ahead and finish the shoulder first. Yeah, I made this a little bit more complicated than it had to be because I forgot to sew the shoulder. So, like I said, I'm going back and change it, but things happen. I'm just cutting off the extra. All right, now, oh, okay. I'm going to sew these two together for the shoulder. Let's see how much room I got to work with. Yeah. Okay, I'm just attaching my shoulder. Again, same principle. That's the front. That's the front. Okay. This portion is going towards the front, and let me trim it a little bit more to make it look good. This portion is going towards the front edge. So I'm reinforcing that stitch. And this portion is going towards the back. It's still going to be even or balanced because you have the same amount of bulk, so to speak, on both sides. And it's not going to leave a lump on the shoulder because you're going to press it. And then I normally sew it down, but let me match my stitch. Okay. All right. Let's go towards the back. And you see, when you fold it over, you're going to press it. There's because it's balanced on both sides. It's not going to create anything. And you see how there's no pulling, no gathering, nothing like that on your fabric. But I'm going to put the understitch on there to work that out. And there you have it, the neckline of your pajamas, all done. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna complete this side, and then I'm gonna sew my side seam. Nope, I'm gonna complete this side, leave it open, and then sew my side seam. Okay, let's make sure we have the right piece. Oh, nope. Yeah. This is the back sleeve. Oh, this is gonna start this going in there. Let me pin this down. Okay. This is the shoulder. Or is it? Yep, that's the shoulder. And this dart that I put in there, let me know that's the shoulder too. And I think I'm gonna have to do a stay stitch. I'd rather take the time to do all of this than to put it together and having it looking all wonky. So, yep, I need a stay stitch in there because if I don't, it's gonna pour when I'm sewing it. So, wow, this fabric is teaching me a lot. Yeah, I'll put a stay stitch in there, even though you see it's not gonna be much of a challenge, but I'd rather put it in there and than to have this move on me when I'm sewing. So here we go. I don't want any pulling either. So we're learning a lot about a stay stitch today and how they stabilize your woven fabric, especially when you're using interfacing. And I was gonna do a bias trim, but I said this fabric is so thin. If I did that, uh, I wouldn't have a lot of control in the shape at a certain point. So that's why I wanted to do a facing. Now I do have a t-shirt pattern that I put a yoke in the back, but it's not the t-shirt fabric is not this thin. This is some thin. See, I can see right through it. It's awfully thin. And I'm an hour and 48 minutes in, but it's a good teaching video. So I guess I learned some things to change on the next one. But this is my first live actually sewing video, so this would be a good one. Um, you know, sewing some things from beginning to end. So let's go back now. And I'm not going to sew the side seam down the side because I need I need to that's just extra stuff to iron. Let my interfacing touch the another piece. Oh, trash can on the left. Touched another piece. Okay. Let's see. I want you guys to see what I'm doing and not just be doing stuff off camera. So, like I said, this is the first one that I'm doing. So I'm only going to attach the. There you go. I'm only going to attach the shoulders. I'm not attaching it under the arm yet because I want to do that side seam. And I probably just do the side seam so you guys can see it. But normally uh, well, it's no certain technique. You just do things the way you want to. But normally you see people attach the shoulder, attach the side seam, well, and then put on their interfacing. But because I had the one piece of interfacing, I was thinking attach the interfacing at the top, leave the sides open so I can turn it. But as you see, I had to make changes to that. So um, now you're going to see me sew from under the arm down. No, I think I'll do the opposite from down at the bottom. And the reason I'm going to do the opposite is because I think I was off maybe about an inch or two on my hemline. and I really wanted to utilize the hemline, so I don't know. I'll see. And now I'm mumbling and talking to myself. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about because it was self talk when I was cutting it out. Should I do it this way or that way? But what I'm doing now is just sewing this facing to the underarm portion. And I'm going to start right there because is that too much to be concerned about? Okay, let's go this way. Taking this loose and working this out. I had too much at the top. Yeah, I don't want to lose that much of a sleeve. And also, like I was saying about the upper sleeve, the shoulder, and how to cut for that, I forgot to mention under the arm, a lot of patterns, when they do plus size patterns, they give you all this arm space under the bottom. And, by the time you put this sleeveless, whatever it is, on, you're seeing half of your bra. So when you're let me lift the camera up. When you're plus size, you want enough opening for your arm to get in, but you don't want your opening to go down here. So you have to make your adjustments and bring it back up at least to where your bra line is. That's another tip. I think I got this camera right back in the spot so you can see the machine. Okay, for plus size, the shoulder and as well as under the arm. So those are two adjustments that you have to account for, because when you have too much space under the arm and you're seeing your bra and everything, that's going to make your arms look bigger too, because it's going to look like something is ill fitting or loosely fitting or something, and you don't want that. So that's something else to consider. See, I worked it out. And I'm going to start right there. Yep. And sew this back arm to the rest of the garment. Like I said, I'd rather keep checking because this fabric is so thin, instead of sewing it and having to come back and pick something loose because it's wrinkled on the bottom. This is a long one, people. Okay, I might just finish the side enough to show you, and then end. And when I after the live is over, I come back and post the finished garment, because I didn't know that I was going to be doing. But whatever I'm doing to this side, that's what you're going to do to the other side, basically. And then the next live, I think I have so much stuff done ahead of time. I've never done a live before, but I appreciate your patience. So now I'm just going to go up enough for me to. Why is that? Okay. All right. All right, let me cut my seam so it can have ease. And this is another one. When you're cutting to give your stitch some relief. Don't let the point of your scissors go past your seam line. That way you can be assured that you're not going to cut through your seam. And also make sure you're not cutting your fabric from underneath. See how I'm doing? The point of my scissors will never go past that seam line. So when I'm cutting, I don't have to be concerned about cutting my seam. I'm not holding my scissors like this and cut. I'm just keeping the tip right at the line. I was going to say that was too much fabric. I could feel it. I don't want to cut my same thing there. Oh, this is that t-shirt fabric that keeps rolling over. So this is the last one. All right, so that side is done and cut. So what I'm gonna do is this is the front, and let me just now what you would do is iron this down, but let me pretend that I'm ironing it. Okay. And you have a choice too. You can just cut this extra off if you wanted to. Now, the reason I don't is because, again, it's going to add a little bit more stability to this fabric because it's so thin. If it was thicker, I would probably just go ahead and cut it off. But this is going to add a little bit more stability to this thin fabric. Okay. Now you see how there's no wrinkling, no pulling. That's a fine seam right there. Okay. Now I'm gonna attach the side seams. Also, I'm gonna show you. That's why I wanted my two pieces. I'm just a little bit frustrated right now. I'm still looking for them. You see that, right? When I told you guys I'm just gonna stop looking. But yeah. I probably do it and take some pictures and put it in the post later. But this is the this is the side seam. I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use this so I can pin this out of the way. And pin this out of the way. We're gonna do right sides together. And this is kind of unorthodox, the way I'm sewing this. But like I said, I anticipated a different design. Okay. These are the side seams for this. And now I'm not worried about a stay stitch because these fabrics are equal, meaning there's no facing on either side of these. So, all right. Now, I'm pinning this together. Yeah, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do it because this is the most important part that I was going to show you guys about the split. So, it's just going to have to be what it's going to be. And I hope you guys stay tuned because it's going to take about 15 minutes, I know, to get to that part. So I'm pinning this side seam together. And this fabric is so thin, but it's going to sleep so well. Oh my goodness. It's soft. It's thin, it's breathable. I'm loving it. Yeah, so please watch to the end, which after I do this scene, that's going to be the end because I would have shown you guys. Well, I'm going to do the understitching, show you what that is because I would have shown you guys at least one side. And this is just a small split. It's like comparable to a split that you would see on the side of a t-shirt. Did I bring my iron down here? Because I said I could make one. I'm gonna have to make some and show you. But that's good anyway, because then you get to see that process. Okay, that's my iron over there. All right. I'm getting to the end for the hem section. And this is not a circle hem, but I would love the opportunity to show you how to do a circle hem without having that part that let me see. This is the front or the back. Oh, okay. So I don't have to worry about the hem because I can do a high low. All right. Because see, I knew I had missed about an inch or so. Okay. Now what I'm gonna have to do though is make an adjustment. Again, you always have options in sewing. You're controlling the needle, the scissors, the thread, all of that. So if you have to make changes, don't be afraid to make changes. Okay, now what I'm talking about is right here. I knew I was about an inch or two, see, off on my hem, but it works out good because the back is longer than the front. So I'm gonna roll with it and pretend that I was doing a high-low design. Okay, now this is a little bit off, so all I have to do is cut this to match. But let me pin it. So, um, and this is to accommodate my split. So when you do a split on an outfit, you don't just decide to stop and do a split. You need some extra fabric to stabilize that. So you would just cut, I don't know, go about an inch out from your fabric and make your accommodations for your split. Okay, so now this is a self-made pattern, and I should have done other things, but when you're sewing a split like this, you don't just stop right here. You go in maybe about a half an inch and stop. That way, you know, you would at least have the top portion uh, stabilized by the fabric, the outfit itself. So I'm going to put a pin here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put two here so I know to stop right here. All right, so I'm going to stop my regular seam right here. But then what I'm going to do is readjust my machine and do a gathered stitch the rest of the way down. Okay, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I want my seam when I iron it open to be even, but then I'm going to remove that gather stitch. But this is important, and this is what I want to show you. A lot of times when people sew this kind of split in something, it starts splitting right here where they stop the seam. In order to prevent that, I'm just so upset with myself. Uh, Oh, that's my cord. And then it's gone. I don't want to pause the video because I took too long. And I can't find my interfacing either. Okay. I'll just use some more. Okay. Let me plug up this iron because I'm going to have to show you guys this. And I had all my pieces already ironed and ready to go. And I don't know what happened with that. But this side seam I didn't have ready to go because I had planned to do this on camera anyway to show you. So let me plug up my iron and show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, I got my iron plugged up. Let me get it out of the way until I'm ready to use it. And this is my first video, guys. So be patient with me. Okay, I hope you can still see. Okay, now I had some featherweight interfacing. That's what I wanted to use. Okay, Donita, get over it, girl. Okay, I'll just use some regular weight. Is that featherweight? Nope. It's regular weight. It's heavyweight, actually. Definitely don't want to. Well, these are my pajamas. And I'm be wearing them at my house. So, let's see. Even if it has some cloth, I'll be fine. Nope, that's too heavy. Yeah, this will work. Okay, now, in order to stabilize your split, for all you new sewers out there that stop making stuff with splits in it because it splits up, etc., etc., go back and enjoy your splits because I'm going to show you how to sew them. And you will never have to worry about that challenge again. Okay. Ooh, I don't want my pattern getting wet. My water thing is sweating. And I don't need my stuff near that. Okay. So, this is for the other piece. So let me cut that right now. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm cutting a piece of fabric. It's usually like 1 inch by 2 inches. Let me make sure it's like 2 inches. Yeah, I need to cut a little bit off of there. So this is for the other part of what I'm showing you. 1 inch by 2 inch, if you can see that. So I'm going to set that interfacing aside. And like I said, I usually use the featherweight. Then I'm going to cut another piece for each side. I don't know, probably the same. 1 inch by 2 inch. And all these little pieces, I do not throw interfacing away because you always need it for something like I'm doing right now. Okay, let's see the best way to do this. Let me see if I can push the machine back. Yeah. Okay, thank you. We're working this out. And so I can be right at the table. All right. So now that I have these two pieces, I'm gonna get some fabric and interface. Well, it's 4 pieces actually. This is for the stabilization of the split, and this is for the stabilization of the fabric that's around the split. And you might think this is a lot to do. It is, but I promise you, you're gonna have a split that you can. These are gonna be pajamas, and even if they weren't, that you can sleep in, roll around in. You don't have to worry about it splitting because you didn't just rely on. I hope you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. That's good. You're not just going to rely on the thread and a seam. So this one, what I'm going to do is cut two pieces and I'm going to interface them. So I can just go ahead and interface them and cut them off. Make life simple. So I'm placing it down. I'm going to iron these on, and I just got this little bit of thing because I didn't anticipate doing all this. I had these already made. That's the point I'm making. I was just going to iron the other ones on. That's what I was looking for, these little pieces. And guess what? When this video is over, I promise you, they're going to pop up from wherever they are. So, and I don't have an ironing net or anything. But anyway, let's do it. I'm ironing this facing on these pieces. And a lot of people say, don't use steam, but I do. But I don't have any water in here anyway. What? Oh, come on. It happens. Oh, I'm learning a lot on this video, I'm telling you. Okay. Stay right there. Stay right there. Please stay right there. Okay. Now, I'm just going to make these two little pieces that I'm showing you. And this is a tip that you're going to use. You're going to use it on every split that you have. And you never have to worry about it again. So 1 inch by 2 inches, that's about all you need, for most splits. So, all right, let's see. Oh, no, you didn't. You tried that. Okay. I'm glad that didn't get stick on there. I had it turned on the wrong side. Oh my goodness. Actually, it's kind of fun though. So now I know what it feels like when people are live under pressure. Well, I'm not under pressure, but you know what I mean. Now, these are the pieces that I had made and I couldn't find. So let me get out the iron out the way. So now that I've had these things, because I made one long strip and I just cut it in half, have this made, two of them. Like I said, this is a forever split. You never have to worry about it splitting open or anything. Trust me. And you're going to use this on everything you put a split on. You're going to go back to making things with splits in the back and splits in the front. The basic split. I'm not talking about a pleated split. And that's why a lot of people don't make them, because they have to keep going back and shoring them up. And when they split the fabric with them. So now you got your two pieces. Let's see. You got your two pieces. 1 inch by 2 inch. So just hold tight right there. Now, I can throw this in the trash over to my left, not my right anymore. So now the next thing we're going to do is stabilize the split on the fabric. Now you see where the split is going to start right here. We're going to stabilize that. And how do we do that? We're going to add a piece of interfacing. Yay! Where we're going to stop our stitch and put our stitch on the fabric. So see, I said this is going to be my point where I'm going to stop it. Now, I know that, but I'm going to remove these pins, because you know what happens when you press with pins in your garment. Those ripples, they'll stay there. So all I'm going to do is pull this out. Now I can iron over these pins if I wanted to, because they're glass head. But it's not about that. It's about not having those little puckers in your fabric. So what I'm going to do, you see what I'm doing? I'm putting it, my seam is going to come just like this down here. So maybe I need to move this over a little bit. My seam is going to come down here and it's going to start right there. So I can move it up and make it the shape of that. Let me do that on both pieces since I'm doing it. So let me cut this in and cut this up. I was getting ready to go to the right. I'm going to the left for my trash can. Okay. Now you see how this shape is? And I hope you guys can see. Okay, good. Now I'm stabilizing the fabric. I'm going to put that interfacing right there. And when I sew my seam, I'm coming down just like this. And I'm going to stop right there. And see, I'm going to have reinforcement on both sides when I sew it. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to use these two pieces for. So that's going to give it more stability. So I'm going to put this here. And let's see if I can do both sides at once. I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can do it. Okay, so. Okay. So this is another technique. So tonight you guys learn a lot of stuff. I'm giving you all my secrets to making a garment that's gonna last year after year. Okay, so now I got my interfacing in place. And like I said, this is medium weight. I usually use the featherweight for all the stuff like this. So this is the things that they don't teach you on a pattern. They just tell you sew this and sew that. But all the techniques to making your and this is hot, but my fingers have over the years what do you call it? Desensitized to the heat. Okay, so that one's on. Let me make sure the other side is on. And then I'm hold it up and nope, that side didn't get on. Because I'm ironing on the table with just a cloth. And there's nothing for the heat to absorb to and bounce back. So let me sew this side. Press this side. And then I'm gonna show you what it's gonna look like. And I'm not gonna hem it, but I will show you a finished product. I'll probably come back and show it to you as best as I can. Probably some future video or at the beginning of the next live. Okay, now you see how this look? I hope you can see that. So when I sew it, this is the seam. I'm going to sew right down there and it's all going to be stabilized because, well, not just stabilized, reinforced. That's what I'm looking for. And you don't have to worry about the split. But then after you do this, and you might think, why are you doing all this? Because you want something that's going to last, that you don't have to worry about the splitting up. And this is good for when you do your skirts. If you're doing pants like capris and a side split on those, it's good for any splits that you're going to sew. So you see how I stabilize the fabric? Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to sew this and then I'm going to show you the next step. And then I'm going to call this, excuse me. Let me get some coffee. It's been sitting here going cold. Well, it's actually cold. But, I'm not supposed to be, well, I'm not supposed to. I don't have any restrictions on coffee. It's just that I promised myself that I would get off of coffee. I was doing good and I was drinking green tea. And then I was in an environment in a meeting setting and everybody was talking about how good coffee is. And I could agree because I love coffee. And I had to have some, but I'm not going back full blast. So that's one good thing. I'm just gonna enjoy this coffee and go back to my green tea. Not for any other reason than my own, because I can stay up all night long and be watching too much TV. Okay, so now you see I pinned it. Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna put my 2 pins in where I'm gonna stop. I'm going about a half inch past uh, the fold of the pleat. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, you see how I pinned it? Two things in there, and this. Okay, let me see if I can put the camera down a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is sew my seam all the way up to here. So you've seen how I've stabilized the fabric. Then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with these two pieces. Okay, so let's sew this and be on about our business. And then you at least have one side that I've shown you how to do it. Okay, so let me remove this pin because there's too much bulk up here and I don't want to start making gathers. Yeah. Okay. Y'all hear my iron going off. And I'll probably get my son to help me do some kind of setup where, but I'll next time I'll have all my stuff more thing than I have right now. So now I'm going over the bust guard and I'll just do a little backspace at the beginning. Let's see how this seam looks. Okay, good. And you have the option to zigzag this. You could have sewn it on your serger, but I'll probably go back later and serge it. I don't know. I just wanted to get through this section. So this is something that you can cut your stuff out and sit down and we go through sewing it together. Like I said, I told you it was a t-shirt thing. Ooh, that's too much. I had that on there for the stay stitch I was doing. This is not the point where I want to run out of thread, even though I have another bobbin standing by. Okay. All right, we're getting to the end. And then I'm going to show you how to press this seam too, because that's one of the important things. Okay. Now, both things are in the same place. And, all right. So now I'm sewing all the way through, if you can see, the interfacing. And we're going to pretend it's featherweight. And when I get right here where I decided to stop about a half inch in, I'm going to do a backspace. Now, I want to do basically a long stitch because I'm going to remove it anyway. That's why I did the back stitch. Okay, now let's keep this straight here. That interfacing is kind of wonky, but this seam, if you can see, it's going to be straight. But this is a gathered, this is not permanent, but it's there. So my, so I know how to iron it open. And I hope I have sound. I didn't even check that. Now another thing needs to happen during this live. Okay, I'm not going to cut this. I just want a long piece of thread. Okay, because it's gathered, I know it's going to be kind of crinkly. So I want it straight when I press it. But this is not going to be a permanent stitch. I just did that so I know. How to iron it. Now this way I don't have to guess if I'm pressing it straight, where my seam is, etc., etc. All I'm going to do is open this up and press it. The seam is going to be my guide. So let me do that because I have to do that to show you the last step in order to fortify a side seam. So now what did we do? We put the stabilizer on the side, right? Now I'm going to press my seam open, and we're going to go to do the next level. And you're saying all of this for pajamas. It's not about the pajamas. It's about sewing something that's going to last, and learning techniques to stabilize your sewing. So the time, and look at the time it took me to do this, and basically because I made a decision on the fly. But even so, time is something you can't get back. So invest it wisely. That's all. Okay. So now, and I'm gonna have a high-low gown because I told you guys I was off on my thing. Now, what I'm gonna do is press this to one side, just like this. Okay. Then I'm gonna turn it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Then I'm gonna turn it over and press to the other side. That way I have a straight seam. I don't have to worry about holding it and all of that stuff. Press to the other side. And you see where I stopped with the the backspace. Now I'm gonna open it up. And press it open. And see, now I have my seam that I need in place, and I don't have to worry about folding it, the seam, the split not being even. The seam has done all of that for me, all that work for me. Yes, it's worth it. Just wait until you see the finished product. Okay, now I'm gonna press, get out of the way, cord. I'm gonna press this open. And I'm trying not to touch that interfacing because it went kind of over. So I ain't ready to deal with no sticky iron today. So I'm pressing it open. I'm going up a little bit more. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now that I hope you guys can see this. I pressed it open. I know where I backspaced that. I'm going to take these two little pieces and I'm going to fold them in half. And they're going to get a little pressing. I'm just pressing. Well, I can press two. Why not? I was going to say because I'm just showing you one side of it. Okay, so that's my piece that's 1 inch by 2 inch that I pressed. I hope you can see this. That I pressed in half. This is a technique you're going to do on all your splits. You will never have to worry about a split coming apart again because you stabilize not only your fabric, so you won't have the pulling and the holes to come through, but you're going to add this extra little piece that's going to make sure it doesn't come loose. So now, where am I? Okay, here's the seam. Can you see that? Right here. Okay. Now, I'm going to, you're going to take this piece and the folded edge is going towards the hem, right? The unfolded edge is going up towards the sleeve. And you do that because you want this, it's extra fortification when it's on the fold instead of like this where it can flip up and start creating some kind of challenge. So I'm gonna put that down for a minute and show you. Now, what we're gonna do is go ahead and satisfy ourselves with making folding this over. You see how I'm folding this over and making our seam. I mean, getting ready to make our split. So I'm just gonna fold this fabric over. I hope you can see that. But this is all so much the same color. I'm just getting ready to make my side split. So I'm folding the fabric over. And I could have pressed it, I guess. Uh, so I'm folding this over, and I'm going to start pinning it. Now, I'm not going to do the base part of it because when you're doing a split, right, you don't do a split and then hem it because you're going to see all of your product from the side. You hem it first and then you do the split. That way it'll enclose all the sides of the hem. So I'm just going to only go down so far. Uh, that's another tip when you're doing hems. You want everything, so when you walk, basically, and this is, not just for a gown, for anything. So when you walk, basically, and your split comes open, as you walk, you won't see where your hem starts and stops because it'll be enclosed in the split. So like what I'm showing you, I would have hem this up and then fold this over. Hem this up like that and then fold this over and enclose it. And you see how it looks neater because you won't see anything from the side. It'll be uniform. So that's how you always close a split on the side. You never make your split and then hem it. uh it's gonna look, it's not gonna have that professional look that you want. Oh my goodness, you guys are learning some stuff tonight. Look at that. How many lessons that I've given out right now just in a short period of time that change your sewing forever. So if you guys come back and stay tuned, put me on the notification uh, bell when I have a video. You'll be surprised what you learn. And some of this I know it's new for some people. It's new. And I can cut this interfacing off at any point. Okay, so I'm doing the other side. Ooh, that looks so wonky. And you just try to get them. I can cut this off. Why am I bothering with this? Folding it like that. Okay. Trash can on the left now. Okay. Okay. Okay, now this is where, see that? I'm pulling it apart so I can see. I guess I can cut it for you guys, but all I usually do is just pull it apart so I can see. Okay. Now, basically, I would have gone all the way down, cut the split, and sewn it. I was going to say, but since I'm not hemming it, let me go ahead and do that anyway. Okay, now all I'm going to do right now is just pull my thread. And I'm going to leave that. So normally you wouldn't leave a space at the end like I'm about to do. But since I'm not hemming it right now, that space is going to be there. Well, since it's high-low, you know what? Since it's high-low, and I don't have to make sure my hems are even, I can go ahead and hem it now. So what I'm doing is folding it in. That's right. It's not like I'm trying to make them even on both sides. So let me get rid of the extra to show you how this is really done. And then we'll be done. And just remember to press, press, press. Now it's usually press as you go, but I didn't. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a small hem in this t-shirt, and so this is my marker um, for the hem to go all the way around. So I'm doing a hem, my fold in here. So that's my hem. Okay, I'm good with that. Let me fold it down a little bit so it can go out a little further and not be in my way. So I'm putting a hem in the front part, and I'm gonna put a hem in the back. So that's right. Let's pretend that I've hemmed the bottom of the t-shirt, and now I'm working my way around to my split. I hope you guys can see that. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. Now you see how my split is right here? I want to fold this over the hem. So see how when you see the split from the side, how nice that looks rather than looking uh revealing the hem. Okay. Now let me pin this right here. Now, normally if this was thicker fabric, then how I'm pinning this right now, I would be prepared because there's so much fabric down there to use my hump jumper. I don't want to cut it off and remove it because cut off the extra fabric right here. Because see this, because this fabric's so thin, this extra fabric down here is actually going to keep this whole hem from rolling up over time because there's so much of it. But it's not too much to you know, make the design look bad. So that's why I don't want to cut the extra off in case somebody's saying why not cut off the extra. This fabric is so thin, I don't want to do that. So I'm still working. And like I said, this will be the end of it. Now for this hem, same thing. I'm going to fold that over and fold it over again. Okay. Yeah, my first video, at least I can say I've done it. And so you guys are getting a real-time sewing lesson. I mean real time, showing you everything. So this is going to be great for someone new that don't know a lot about how you fortify your stuff from your stuff, how you fortify your sewing from the inside out. So by the time you're looking at the outside, you've done some things on the inside to really make a difference. Okay, so now that I got that hem where I want it, again, I'm going to fold it over. You always do a split this way. That way, see, if this is showing, let me get this straight. This is showing from the bottom, you don't care because nobody's going to see that at the hemline. You don't want it all showing on the side. So see how uniform that split looks? That's what you want. So let me pin this in real time. Share this video, please. I need to get some subscribers, especially enough by the end of the year, so I can make the ones that have already seen the videos that I've done count, if you guys understand what I mean. So thank you for watching. And even if you're watching this later, go ahead and subscribe because think about it. Look how many lessons you learned today. I mean, what do you think is coming in the future? Come on now. And also go check out my Instagram. Same trash can on the glass. The same you know what I'm trying to say. The same name is a Keeper Design. And you see all the things that I've made and all the things that I've designed on my Instagram. Because I've been doing this for a while, just not on YouTube. And I did something 2 years ago on YouTube, and it just never panned out the way I wanted it to. Lack of time, basically, and experience. And so I said that's why I'm doing this live, uh, because at least I can do that. Okay, now, and so check me out on YouTube, Facebook, not YouTube, Instagram, and see all the stuff that I made over there. Okay, now can you see this split? I hope you can see this. That's there. Now this is the final step. That's what this piece is. Now we've stabilized the back before we sewed the seam. Now this part right here is going to keep this prevents the pulling apart and have your fabric start to fray at your seam, but this prevents your split from going up further. And so what you're going to do is take this square wherever your seam stops, you know, where you put that you know, the backspace, you're going to put it right there. Now you see what I'm doing? I'm putting it right there, because when you get up to the top, you're going to sew across. And this is going to prevent this seam from going any further or splitting or anything. So it's adding more stability to the interfacing that you already put on the seam. So I'm going to sew this. Sew this. I'm going to pin this in place. And I'm going to pin it in place over here. Now you have some options. You can just do a regular seam across like you usually do, but I'm going to show you how to actually fortify. Now, what you're going to do, if you want to to stabilize it even further, instead of just sewing a seam across, you can take this, sew it across, and make a triangle, a little design on the side. You've seen those jackets with the welted pocket, or either a buttonhole that's kind of thick, and they show sew a little triangle at the end. That's basically what you're doing. So you're going to sew straight across where the seam opens up at, and then you're going to go up and sew a little triangle, and that's going to hold these together. You never have to worry about this coming apart. So let me sew it and then show you guys a little bit more after the fact what I'm talking about. And it's going to look decorative from the back side too. So let's sew this thing. And then this will be the end of the video. So I'm going to start on the side, because I can come back and match this up. And we're going to turn a corner. Oh, no, let me go ahead and do it this way. Because I could do a seam and then turn the corner, but I don't want to come back and have to sew anything at the end. Okay, so can you see that? I'm ready to sew it. And I'm going to take my time because this is a side seam and I want it to look neat. Okay, I'm going back. And I'm going forward. Okay. Some things, it's not about pedal to the metal. You want the seam just to look nice. Okay, so this will be the end of the video, guys, once I do this and show you. And how long is this? My goodness. Yep. But somebody's going to learn something. I'll tell you that. Okay. Okay, I'm at the end of my or the end of my seam, the beginning of my thing, whatever. Okay. Now all I'm doing is just turning, all right? And I'm gonna come across, go back, get a little fortification there. And something's not right. Where's that pin? Okay. So pins, but not going in that direction. Mm-mm. Then I'll be trying to replace a needle. Okay. So that way. Okay, now I'm gonna pivot again. All right. And I'm gonna sew down the other side. Oh no! Ah, I'm gonna have to go back. What I did, I forgot to take off my gathering stitch, but we're gonna get through this side just enough for me to show you. Then I have to go back and fortify that later. I'll just pull it out. Okay. All right. Now let me show you something. Now, I hope you can see this. See how that looks from the back? Very uniform. A nice little split, straight and everything. That's not something you want to rush through. See how that looks? Now, all of that is fortified. You see that? However, now I can come back and just make a angle all the way up to this center point from here, and the same thing from here. Put a little design on the side, and it's not so much a design. You're actually sewing this down, and you can do it by just sewing the stitch all the way up here again and coming across. But why would you do that? When you're not going to be able to do that anyway. So just put this triangle on the side. And it doesn't have to be this big because you can cut this down to whatever size you want. I'm just putting this here so I know what center is. How I'm going to work this out. On that side. And then what I'm going to do is cut all of this off. Okay, so now, and then like I said, you never, ever, ever have to worry about this splitting unless you're not even gonna be. So again, sometimes you have to get your eyeballs down there and match that up. Okay. Now all I'm doing is just coming to the center where my pen is. Make sure I don't have nothing caught. I'm not going to do a backspace because I don't want that to be showing from the other side. What I'm going to do is pull the thread through and then okay, I can move this now. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. This is almost the end of I'm not rushing the end, but okay, now I'm coming down on this side and I'm gonna meet this seam. Eyeballs on what you're doing. There you go. Okay. And that is how you sew a night. Like I say, I'm going to change that in an hour plus. Oh, I guess I didn't have enough of my stuff together. So what you're gonna do is just take these threads that are coming up, pull that thread to the inside, and you're gonna tie a knot because you didn't want to do a backspace on this because you don't want it to not match exactly and have that look from the other side. If you guys understand what I'm saying, so I'm gonna tie this off. And when you tie a knot off, don't take the two pieces of thread like this, separate them and tie them together because that will come loose. Just hold the two pieces together and tie it like that. That's a proper knot. And you don't have to worry about it coming loose later. Trash on the left. Okay. Now let me do this one. And this side is done, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to say I'm adding anything to this. I'll put stuff in the chat later. But the reason I'm doing live because I don't do, let me put two knots in here. I don't do editing like that. Okay. That's done. Now, you see how that looks? I hope you can see that. That is stable. That pleat is not going anywhere. You got this line here. You got it stable up to this point, and you also fortified your seam on the inside, like I showed you, with that interfacing. That's the back side. And like I said, personal choice. You can cut this off if you want to. And you still don't have to worry about it raveling because you got the interfacing on the inside of that on both sides. So you can just cut it off. You don't want to cut it too close to your seam though, just to be safe. Okay, hold on. Cut this side. All right. And cut this off. I don't want to cut it too close. Cut that off. So I've sewn this. I don't have any trash to clean up later because you clean up as you go. Okay, so now you got this, and then of course, oh my goodness, I'm gonna do this thing because I promised, and I'm gonna show you. Okay, so we got our side seam done. I can take this out. We got our split. That's the one I want to show you how to fortify that. And I'm gonna iron it, press that open. We got our split done. Right? Because it's a high-low finish. Of course, you guys know I didn't do the hem, but I showed you how to fortify your split. So that split is never going anywhere. And you just press that out. But that's not going anywhere. It's there. It's stable. It's not going to split up and go up there anywhere. And I want to show you guys how to do some top stitching and fold this, but I explained it well enough. So you would just not top stitching, understitch. You would pull everything towards the facing. So a real thin line here. Let me show you. I can show you a little bit. I just don't want to leave you guys hanging when I say something and then somebody say, well, what's the understitch? So I won't leave anybody hanging. She didn't tell us about the understitch. So I'm pulling everything towards the facing. If you guys can see that. And I'm just going to sew a real thin line. Oh, it's not even a seam. It's understitch. Yeah, so a real thin stitch on top of the interfacing and everything underneath that you pull over to that side. Make sure it's all flat. You don't have any bulk underneath. And I'm just going to do enough to. Okay, I pushed the start stop button by mistake. I was going to say, I'm running out of oh my, oh no, I didn't. Yeah, I still have some. Running out of bobbin thread. Pull everything towards the interface and just keep checking. You always want to do that when you're working with thin fabric because it has a tendency to have a moving wherever it wants on its own. Okay, now this is a great project. Even if you're not sewing this kind of t-shirt, to show you some techniques and things that you can incorporate. So this is great. I'm glad you guys stayed with me. I hope you share this with others and help me build my channel. I'm just going to sew up to the other point because I didn't put it together. So when I come back later, I can match it up. Okay, and that's what you call an understitch. Now you see how already it's turning the fabric. So when I fold this over for my arms, you're not going to be able to see the seam from the back. I mean, the facing from the back because it puts a little lip on it. You see that? So that's what you call an understitch. And all this extra time, trust me, it's going to be worth it. And you'll see the finished pictures on my Instagram page. But and I'm gonna do the hem the facing. So that was it for today. I thank you guys for staying tuned with me. I'll finish this and get it on my channel. But I can't say it'll be on my channel tomorrow unless I feel like finishing it tonight because I don't sew on Sundays. Okay, so that's the side split, stabilize, showed you the understitch, told you about the shoulders and how you make the difference when you plus size. And look forward to some comments and any suggestions you have of things that I can make. And like I said, this is my first video. It's kind of long, but what I plan to pre-do a lot of stuff the next time. But I didn't just want to talk you through a video because I see a lot of people talking people through stuff. And I think people rather see it done so they have an idea. But this would be a great project for, just the tips in there you can use on any project. So I'll finish this off, and I'm glad I did cut it different because now I got a high low seam, and that's it. God bless you guys. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful night. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get a notice whenever I do another video. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching. It says end, so I'm in the. Yes, I'm done.